What's going on, everybody? Jeremy Ritz here. Courage pays better than fear trading. This is episode number 42 of the Traders Podcast, and my hair is sticking up a little bit. I got a collared shirt on, and we're kicking it off new in the new year. And it's going to be an amazing year, special year for Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading. Got the Smart Start Trading and Investing Beginners Bootcamp that kicks off on Monday. And then the following Monday, we have Candlestick Kung Fu going down, where I'm going to be teaching everybody the language of candlesticks and how to apply that in your trading. So just so much fun stuff, so much value to deliver to everyone. And it's my commitment this year to convert as many people as possible to the markets, because there is true power in the markets. And that doesn't mean you have to be a day trader like I am, where this is what you do for your full-time job. And today I'm actually going to talk about my story a little bit. But even just putting money away on a weekly basis, a monthly basis, and especially for you youngsters out there, if you're in high school, or you're just starting college, or you're in college, or even you're just out of college, putting that money away, the compounding effect of the market is incredible. It's powerful. And I really want to drive that home to people this year, educate people, share my knowledge, learn along with you. But I want you to see how you can control your financial destiny and your wealth. So we're going to talk about some of that here today, but I wanted to revisit my story. So we are 1 year in Courage Pays Better Than Fear Trading, finished my first year as a business owner, and it was fun. And I'm ready for year number 2. And I figured what better way than to take a step back, reflect on the year that was 2024, talk about where we're going in 2025, how you could be a part of that. And without further ado, let's get into it. All right, party people. So typically with the Traders Podcast, we do a little market rundown. We do a visit with Mr. Roku, and I'm actually not going to include those in the podcast moving forward. I may have some separate videos where I will do those things, but I want to take a little bit different spin this year. But I also just want to take a moment to thank everybody for being part of Courage Trading in 2024, and to all the new people who have joined, who have signed up, who are going to be part of this fun journey in 2025. And I just wanted to take a moment to share my story, reshare my story. If you go back and watch the first episode of the Traders Podcast from January 2024, you could find it there. But a lot has changed over the last year, and I figured, hey, what better time than now than to do a brief little revisit, and update my story as to how I got here to being a full-time trader and investor. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And before I entered this world that I absolutely knew nothing about, I was an educator. I was a high school English teacher for 5.5 years, go Bo Manor. Then I was a high school assistant principal and a middle school assistant principal for 5.5 years, where then I moved to be a high school principal for 7 years. And I loved education. My initial plan, my goal was to become a superintendent of schools, a superintendent of a school district. And, I actually applied for the superintendent position in 2018. I didn't get the job, which was a blessing in disguise that I didn't get it, and pursued another job my last year as principal, didn't get that one. And I said, you know what? I'm tired of having someone be responsible for my outcomes financially, peace of mind, happiness. And really the tipping point for me was having 3 young children. Right now they're 9, 7, and 5. I have 2 boys and a girl. They're my everything. And as a high school principal, you're gone a lot. So working 60, 70, sometimes 80 hours a week, going to prom, to chaperone prom, and then going to after prom where you're staying up 24 hours, and then going back the next day into the community for community events. And there was a point where I enjoyed all that, but it got to a point where I was gone too much and I knew something needed to change. And I didn't know what that looked like, but I remember meeting with Edmund whom you guys know from the Courage podcast. And he had left behind his job as an assistant principal. And I said, dude, I need to change something because I'm miserable. And so he walked me through the numbers and the financials, and he does real estate. And he said, I know that you buy stocks, buy and hold stocks. Have you ever thought about trading? And I was like, what the hell's trading? And so he connected me with a guy who became my mentor, my coach. And the rest is history. I just decided at that point in time that, you know what, let's do this. And it was on prom day of my last year as high school principal where I got to school, and this was after talking to Edmund the night before. And I said, this is it. I'm done. I quit. Now I finished out the school year, but that day something came over me. The muse, the inspiration just grabbed my soul and said, this is the day. And so I called my wife. She supported me. She said, you've always done anything you've ever set out to do. I called Edmund, and it was real. So I wrote my letter of resignation, walked it over to the superintendent. He could care less, right? I'm just a nameless, faceless person that they'll replace in a heartbeat. Although the guy who did replace me is a dear, dear friend, and he's kicking ass in the role. So that school is lucky to have him. But I just remember this weight being lifted off my shoulders. That I was done. I was free from the school system. And that's not talking bad about schools, because I loved education. I loved the community where I worked. I loved the kids, loved the teachers. But it was just time for me to change. And I'd always wanted to start something on my own, start my own business, which I've done here with Courage Trading. But I also wanted to pursue something that had great reward, but also risk that came along with it. And that's where trading came into play. And the moment that things really changed for me, clicked for me, is on my cell phone. I did a day trade. I had a little break at school, and I had entered an order for a trade on Snapchat, ticker symbol SNAP. And within 5 minutes, I had made $283. Now, as a high school principal, I was making about, I think, $396 a day. So when I saw that in 5 minutes, by clicking a button and just by doing a little bit of technical analysis, that I can make $283, I had this glass ceiling in my head that just exploded, and doors opened for me that I didn't even know were holding me back. But I realized, wow, if this is possible in 5 minutes and I don't even know what the hell that I'm doing, what else is possible? What's the limit on this? And what I've come to find over time is there's no limit in terms of what the market can provide for you and your family. And so from there, from studying, practicing, learning, working hard, I took the leap. I gave myself 3 solid months of just studying, practicing, learning, and applying these concepts using real money. And I had losses along the way, but I had discovered something that clicked with me. It resonated inside of me. It was my passion. And I always joke that, you often hear people say, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I used to say that, but I could tell you now, honestly, sincerely, I know what I want to be when I grow up. I'm doing it. And that's a really cool feeling to live that. Because I've always heard people talk about, oh, this is my passion. I do what I love. And I liked what I did as a principal, but I love what I do as a trader. And then from there, my first month as a trader, when I had to generate money, I made $4,800, which was well below what I needed to pay my bills. And I remember thinking, oh shit, what am I going to do? And then that next month, I made $10,000. And that's really when I started to build confidence. But then fast forward to the next month, I lost $7,000 on one trade. And I was like, how the hell am I going to pay my bills? Right. So I would never recommend to anybody to do what I did. Right. It's a very risky way to approach trading. You don't want to do it that way. You want to be deliberate, gradual, take your time. You don't quit your job like me, but you give yourself time to grow into it and to learn it. But from there, things just exploded for me to where I learned so much, not just from the wins, but from those losses. And that $7,000 loss, I'm sorry to tell you that that wasn't the biggest loss that I had. In my career so far, have I had trades where I was up $100,000 and it went to zero? Yeah, because that's part of this process. But have I had trades north of $400,000? Yeah. So it's all part of this journey that we call trading. But more importantly, why I wanted to share my story with you is, I'm an outlier. I quit my job. I jumped into this. This is what I now do for a living. But if you're exposed to the market in any way, and it doesn't have to be trading, it could be simple investing by purchasing stocks every week, every month, and you're doing that consistently and you're letting it sit over time, you're going to generate more cash flow, more wealth, greater returns than you would as if your money was just sitting in a weak yielding savings account. And so a lot of people are afraid of the markets for whatever reasons. They think they could lose it all, but that's just not true if you protect yourself and you're smart and you're not careless. But that's my call to action for all of you today. It's a new year. Take a little bit of money, open a brokerage account, and buy one share of a stock, something that you love. Nvidia, Tesla, Meta, Microsoft, whatever it is. Callaway Golf. It's really cheap right now. It's a little over $9. And just sit on it. And every week or every month, buy a couple more shares and do that over and over and over and see what type of compounding returns you get in the process. Okay. So that's my message for you here today. And that's really what episode 42 is all about. It's just to revisit my story, share that with you, challenge you to begin your investing journey. And there's still a little bit of time. Sign up for my Smart Start Trading and Investing Beginner Bootcamp. If you want to learn, I'm giving away $1,000 free coaching package. But more importantly, I want you to be with me this year on the Traders Podcast. Courage pays better than fear trading. And I want you to learn. I'm going to be putting out tons of free educational content to all of you to learn the basics of not just trading, but investing. Because I know trading it's very different from investing. It carries more risk. It's inherently risky. But I want to show people out there that there's a different way that you can approach the markets where you don't have to be a day trader like I am. And you can generate significant returns. A perfect example of this. Go take a look at Tesla. Last March, it was trading around $130, $140. Fast forward to the end of December, it was up near $488. So think about that. It's over a $300 gain on one stock. You buy one share, that's $300. 1,000 shares, you could do the math. And so if you're just buying and holding, you're not trading, you're setting it and forgetting it, you can generate significant returns, build your wealth, and grow it over time. And here's the cool thing with these things known as options, you can use them on existing shares that you own to generate passive income. It's crazy what exists out there. So my goal this year is to share all this with you. I'm going to blow your freaking mind with this stuff because it's a reality. It's true, but you need somebody who knows what they're doing to teach you. You need somebody who's not going to bullshit you or try to mislead you. And that's where I come in. So with that said, that's episode number 42. Just a little shot of my story. I love all of you out there. Grateful for you to be with me on this journey here in 2025. Lots of cool things coming up. If I can help you in any way, please hit me up, couragepaysbetter@gmail.com. Sign up for Smart Start. And we also have Candlestick Kung Fu coming out soon. And I will see you there. I know I will. I know you're going to look in the show notes for this video. Once you finish watching, say, I'm signing up. I'm getting after it. So let's make 2025 amazing. And just a quick shout out to my coaching students who are going to be rocking it, kicking off here. Justin, new addition. Michael and Sean, new addition. Kyle, new addition. Many more new additions coming. And then a shout out to my OGs, Paul, Tony, Vic, Stephanie, who else? Scott. Who else am I forgetting? I know I'm forgetting somebody out there, so forgive me if I didn't include your name there. But let's make this a prosperous, amazing, phenomenal 2025. I've got lots to share with you guys. This year is just going to be phenomenal, so I can't wait to let that go. But yeah, in the meantime, in between time, I hope you have a phenomenal day. This is Jeremy Ritz, Courage pays better than fear trading. I will see you back here for episode number 43 of the Traders Podcast, and make it a great day. Take care, everyone.
This is actually pretty simple. And I said it the other day,